Everyone, I'm Shazia. Thanks for watching my videos. Today I'm with you guys to quickly share the 5 big mistakes that you must avoid while applying for Canadian PR. These are the mistakes which will delay your processing, or it may just happen that they will return your package. Let's start with the very first one. As we all know, while you apply for Canadian PR, you have to apply in the form of an application. So it's a set of multiple forms that you need to submit or mail to the Canadian Embassy. So what happened here? You will download the forms from the Canadian website, which is canada.ca, and we rush to fill the forms and submit as soon as we can. However, that's where we go wrong. We first need to read the basic guide before you could even start filling the forms. The reason that I am saying it's important that you read the guide before you start the application is because there are multiple instructions in there that you need to follow to the T. If you don't follow the instruction, there's a high possibility that your application might be returned, or it might take longer, or they might write to you saying like we need additional information, which you don't want, because you want to send a complete application so that it can be processed quickly. I'll give you a tiny example. For example, if you don't have a middle name and the form will ask you to put the middle name, you cannot just leave it blank. You have to mention NA, and this is a very tiny example that I'm giving you. There are like multiple instructions in there that you have to follow to the T. Hence, it's extremely important that you follow the basic guide, read it thoroughly, and then that's when you start filling the application. That was the very first mistake that you need to avoid. Let's talk about the second mistake that we tend to make. Photo dimensions, right? So when you submit your application, you also need to submit your pictures. So now when we think about submitting pictures for any official purpose or on a form, we think about passport size pictures, which is not in this case. So you have something called as permanent resident photo dimensions. It's available on the website. I will put the link in the description in this video so that you can go ahead and check this link. This photo dimension is 50 mm to 70 mm. This size is a lot bigger than the passport size picture. So you need to make sure wherever you are getting your pictures clicked, you are sharing this particular link or making your studio confirm that they know how to get this dimension, and there are like multiple instructions even in this page. For example, it has to be a white background. If you wear specs, it's advisable that you have to remove your specs to avoid any reflection. You cannot keep your mouth open or smile in the picture. You need to keep the face straight. There are like different things that is covered in this particular link. You have to go through that. It is extremely important that you again follow the instructions to the T, because sometimes it happens that your application is complete but your pictures are not as per the dimensions required. Hence, there's a possibility that they will ask you to resubmit your pictures. What I did in my case, I went and googled the studios around me which who can click these pictures, those who are an expert in clicking photos for Canadian PR. I went there, I discussed my requirements, and that's when I got my pictures clicked. And it has to be recent, because they'll not accept anything which is old, and the timeline is anything which is more than 6 months old. So this was the second mistake that we are talking about. We will come back to the pictures again. when I'm discussing the fourth point. Let's go to the third point now. There's something that you need to make sure when you go to the guideline. It will also give you a checklist, right? It depends on the what kind of PR that you are applying for, and also where exactly you are right now. So what country does the person being sponsored reside in, right? Depending on that, it will give you a set that you need to fill in this. There's something called as a checklist, which will tell you all the supporting documents that you need to attach along with your applications. It could be like your birth certificate, your education documents, your passport, the photocopies and stuff. With this, there's like my own experience, and I have seen so many people who went through the same thing on a forum. They will ask you, especially for family sponsorship, when you're trying to sponsor your spouse, they'll ask you to submit your wedding pictures. And the reason that they ask is like it is evidence, right, that you guys are married. And do not make the mistake that I made. I just selected the good pictures, where everyone is looking good, and I have submitted those 20 pictures that they asked for. And what happened is my application was complete. However, they were not happy with the pictures that I attached, because they couldn't see the actual rituals or the wedding ceremony, anything in those pictures. All they could see is like family, people dressed up, people having food and stuff, but not the rituals. So what happened in my case, they asked me to go ahead and submit my marriage pictures again. I hope when I zoom in you can see they were quite specific about if the marriage was according to the Indian traditions or Muslim law. As I'm a Muslim, they asked for the pictures where we are signing the marriage agreement or the contract or the nikah that we call it. They even specifically asked for pre and post wedding pictures, and what they exactly wanted to see is the actual rituals, right? So make sure you are not just selecting the good looking pictures. You need to make sure that you include a lot of pictures where the ceremony is captured the proper way. It's be it any kind of marriage, you just need to capture the rituals, is what I'm trying to say. That was the mistake that I made. This is the letter that I received, and then I had to go ahead and submit additional documents, and this cost me like a lot of delay. That was the third mistake that you need to avoid. Let's talk about the fourth mistake. Fourth mistake is labeling. As I promised that we will go back to the pictures, remember we talked about the dimensions that you need to be careful about while submitting the application. There's something called as labeling. If you can see, it says name and date of birth, and then date, name and address of the studio. It has to be labeled. Not only this picture, but in my case it was a spouse visa. All my wedding pictures has they had all the labels on it. So what exactly will they ask on a wedding picture? They'll ask for the date that the picture was clicked on, the ceremony, what exactly is happening in that picture, when was it taken, who all are there in the picture, and what are we doing. So it has to have like a description, a brief description of what's happening in the picture, who all are present in that picture, and when it was clicked. So labeling is extremely important. Do not miss on labeling. You have to label every single picture. Do not write anything on the picture, just write everything on the reverse side of the picture. I hope that makes sense. So the last one we covered, following the guideline to the T. Photo dimensions, additional documents. I want to add a little point here. For sponsoring your family, like your spouse, you don't have to showcase that you are earning to a particular threshold. However, if you can attach your financial documents, your bank statements, your pay stubs, please do that, because it's not gonna harm you. There's a possibility that your application will be processed quicker, because they'll know that you can support your wife or husband, whoever you're calling or sponsoring, right? So the last one, when you apply, there's something called as you have the option to fill the application on the computer. Why is it important that you fill the application on the computer, validate it, print it, sign it, and then mail it? I'll tell you how they have described, right? I'm just trying to find that particular section. Okay, it's taking time. Let me tell you. So what happens is there's like an option wherein you can download all the forms on your computer, not on your phone, because there's a high possibility that you'll not be able to open the forms on your phone. So open it on the computer. It's gonna be in a PDF form. You have to have the latest PDF version. Fill it. It will also have a button called validate. Validate it. It will just check that there's nothing left blank, and then once you validate, you print the application, you have it signed, and then mail it to the right address. Why am I saying right address? There are different addresses depending on your case. If you and your spouse is living in Canada and one of you is sponsoring the other, you have to send it to a different address. There's like one in Mississauga and there's one in Sydney, so you need to just make sure that you are sending it to the right address. These are the 5 big mistakes that we tend to make. And how do I know that these are the 5 mistakes? I made one, and I have seen so many people on the forum discussing about how many pictures are we supposed to share, because the checklist says 20 is enough, but there's no stop. You can share more than 20 as evidence, and share good pictures where it is capturing the wedding ceremony. It's extremely important. I had to wait just because my application was there, but they were not happy with the pictures. I hope you're not gonna repeat the same mistakes that I made. You're gonna learn from my mistake. The whole reason that I'm making these videos are just so that people can learn from my mistakes, or with my experience that I'm gonna share, and try and do their best so that their applications are processed quicker and they don't have to wait for long. If you like this video, please go ahead and subscribe and hit the like button. Please do ask questions. If I have the answer, I'll be happy to answer all those questions. I am on the forum too, so I can provide links that you can go through and find more information about the application process. Thank you so much for watching my videos again, and thanks a lot for those who have already subscribed to my channel. Have a good day. Bye.